Is it at all possible that Ohio State not only has one of the deepest tight end rooms in the country, but has an advantage in personnel? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think we might see more 21 personnel from the Buckeyes? And might we see a return to 21 personnel across the country? I'm also going to take this opportunity to remind you that we have an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. And if you are willing to go to Apple and Spotify and leave us a 5-star review, I'm willing to send you one of these stickers in the mail along with a handwritten thank you note from me, because it means that much to me. We're fast approaching 400 ratings on Apple, 100 ratings on Spotify. All you got to do is do that for us. Hit that link in the description below, fill out the form, and I will put your sticker in the mail. So the reason I wanted to start this with Ohio State is I believe that they've got a couple of unique properties, commodities, if you will, at tight end. One of them is Max Klare, who many know as the #1 tight end in the transfer portal during this cycle. It's also striking to me that there's at least 2 players at Purdue last year who are outstanding on a piss-poor, awful football team. The worst football team this side of Florida State. Like, that's how bad Purdue was, and that is why Barry Odom is going into year 1 as head coach there after having put together a pretty remarkable run at UNLV. But he was not able to retain Klare. Dylan Thurman also ends up at Oregon playing safety. I think he's the best safety in the country, not named Caleb Downs, which is another reason why I think the tight ends might be pretty damn good at Ohio State. The defense they're going to face in scout team, first team, really one of the best that there is in the country. Iron sharpening iron, better players make best players, right? The kind that can win national championships. And as one of the narratives that we're going to follow at least through week 1 and perhaps all the way through college football playoffs is, can Ohio State run it back and win back-to-back championships? This is a thing that they have never done in their history as a program, which is kind of remarkable given the track record that Ohio State has shown throughout, the last 150 plus some odd years, right? We've seen Oklahoma go back-to-back. We've seen Alabama go back-to-back. SC has gone back-to-back. Georgia most recently went back-to-back, and on down the line, right? After 1970, it gets harder and harder to do that. It's only happened twice in the 21st century, and twice since the college football playoff. At least 4 times since the 21st century, because we got SC. I want to say there's a lull between LSU and Florida, Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, because there's a lull between Clemson too. Anyway, if you see something different, go ahead and let me know in the comments. People are pretty good about checking my math on this because I was an English major. So Jelani Thurman is interesting to me because Jelani Thurman was a year ahead of Aaron Nolan. They played together at Langston Hughes, dynamic duo. Thought it was going to perhaps be what they went with in 2025. Didn't go that way. When you're able to land Julian Sayin, you reset the board, right? So Devin Brown's at Cal. Kyle McCord went to Syracuse the year before, knowing that Will Howard was coming in, or maybe not knowing that Will Howard was coming in, certainly not wanting to stay around. And he had a pretty damn good year, one of the best passers in the sport last year. But with Thurman, you're getting to see what Keenan Bailey has been talking about, and that is one of the reasons that I think that he's going to get more opportunities here. The quote that he gave to 11 Warriors was, "He's off the charts night and day, more mature. Been really impressed with his work ethic. He's in here every night, getting extra work in. I challenged him to learn every position on the offense. Don't just be a Y. Be a Y. Be an H. Know what the Z's got. And then also be a leader." He's not a young guy anymore. It's true. Max Klare is going to come in with that same sort of mentality, having played some phenomenal football. So looking at the depth chart and looking at just how I think many teams are going to try to combat Ohio State, could you see more 21 personnel? Could you see more 2 tight end sets, single back sets, where you're getting options for not just Max Klare and Jelani Thurman, but you also have a couple of pretty great run blockers on the edge that can help you run a little bit more zone stretch. What we're going to find out is just what it is that Brian Hartline likes to do as an offensive coordinator, which I'm excited to do. But RJ, we've got these absolute 5th generation fighters out here on the perimeter. Yes, you do. And that is another reason I think 21 personnel could be in vogue here. Look, it's Jeremiah Smith, it's Carnell Tate. You got them out wide. Let's just go with that. What if you get one-on-one with them? Yeah, you're going to take that every time. That's a little pick and roll. That's all that is. I think that this is going back to what Dana Holgorsen was doing when he had Justin Blackmon and Brandon Whedon. People forget that the diamond formation was not just cool to look at. Like, I think it's one of the coolest formations in all of football. But it wasn't designed to run the ball. People believed that, right? You had two tailbacks or two fullbacks, one guy getting the ball, and you're able to compress the line of scrimmage into quite literally just that box, and you can create your own blocking schemes, unique blocking schemes that can get you to second levels, perhaps some things that linebackers and defensive linemen haven't seen in different fits for safeties. But the thing that Dana would say, it's the end of the season ended, we didn't put this in to be able to run complex, run schemes. This is a man who played wide receiver in an air raid offense at Iowa Wesleyan and is an air raid disciple. We did this so we can get one-on-one on the outside with Justin Blackmon, because that's one of the things that I think people forget about the air raid and why some people get really handsy for whatever reason. They get defensive when I call their scheme air raid or, what they were calling Lincoln Riley's pro raid, because they think it's a gimmick offense. And I'm going, no, it's no more of a gimmick offense than anything that Mike D'Antonio was running at Houston or Phoenix, right? It's how you go score. It's how you get the best shot. When they ran the system at Loyola Marymount, it was so you could get the best shot. That's what it's about. In this, it is about getting the ball to the best player that you have as often as you can. So when you got Michael Crabtree and Graham Harrell, it's a two-man game. You're going out wide so you can get one-on-ones for your best player, not so you can play this game and spread the ball around. That's nice. It's cool. And sometimes that's how the game goes. But for the most part, all you're trying to do is get the best matchup for your best player against what you can expect to be their worst player or what you want to be their worst player. We see this in mismatches in the NBA. We're going to see this in mismatches at tight end. We see tight ends up against linebackers that perhaps aren't as fast as them. Or we see safeties up against tight ends that aren't as big as them. These are the advantages that you're trying to create if you're an offensive coordinator. It's one of the reasons I love offensive football is, okay, can I get you off at alignment? Those of us that play EA Sports College Football 25 and we'll play 26, we're constantly moving guys in motion and we're constantly trying to misdirect our opponent so that we can get the best option against the CPU, right? And when you got to go cursor match, cool, that's great. You're probably going to be on a worse player than you'd like to be. Or maybe you see it and you're anticipating such a thing. So you've already put in this check. I'm big on playing at the line of scrimmage, right? I love pre-snap read. I love being able to get into the best opportunity I can. And when you got guys like C.J. Donaldson, James Peoples in the backfield, and you got a green quarterback who's really talented, you're going to try to give him as many easy reads as you can to try to make this thing happen. So I, for one, am excited to see just what Max Klare and Jelani Thurman can be about, but I'd be more interested to see just how they deploy the offense given the